So the H1b visa season is almost here. And a lot of you are asking, what's a better option? Apply for the H1b work visa or go straight for the green card under the EB3 category? In this video, we'll talk about the difference and whether you should go for the H1b visa or jump straight to the green card. Hello everybody and welcome back to Immigration Channel. This is where we explain complex immigration matters in short, simple videos. We make immigration easy. And in this video, we'll talk about the difference between the H1b visa and the green card EB3 category. Which one is better? Should you go for the H1b visa, get a work visa first, or jump straight to the green card? We'll talk about pros and cons, things to be mindful about, and some major changes that are about to happen in 2024. So make sure you watch the video all the way until the end. I'm going to give you as many tips as possible, as we always do. But before we jump into this video, if you're here for the first time, please click the notification bell and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the videos that we do, as well as our live streams. In addition, give us a big like so YouTube will be able to show this video to more people just like you. As always, if you need help with your immigration matters, we are spending a lot of time on these videos, but we have a full immigration practice that is assigned to help clients from all over the world. If you need help with your case, you send me a text message, 619-483-4549, or jump to www.immigrationasap.com and one of our team members will be there to help you. So let's jump into the video. If you're looking for opportunities to come and work in the United States, you have to understand all the options out there, all the visas available for you and other alternatives to visas like a green card option. It's essential because when you go and apply for a job, most employers are not familiar with the process. So it's important for you to educate yourself and come prepared with different options to present to your employer. That's why we're making those videos, to empower you, to make you more efficient in your job search. Save those videos for watching later, share them with the employer and anybody else that needs to know what to do in order to find a job and a visa sponsor in 2024. So let's start by talking about the H1b visa. The H1b visa is a work visa. It's not a green card, it's a work visa that is available specifically for professionals. Those individuals that hold at least a bachelor's degree, and the position is one that is a specialty occupation. It's something that requires a skill, knowledge from the individual in that field to be able to do this job. H1b visas are issued initially for 3 years, and you can file another 3-year extension for a total of 6 years. There are other ways to extend this visa beyond the 6 years if you are going through a green card process as well, but we'll leave that for a separate video. The problem with the H1b visa is that it's subject to a numerical cap. Right now, when we're recording this video, we are now in January of 2024. This information will be relevant throughout this year as well, but it's important for you to understand that H1b is subject to a lottery. The registration for the H1b opens once a year, and it's going to open again this year in March. Sometime in March, they're going to let us know before they open registration. So the way it works is that employer register the applicants on a special website that is opened by USCIS. They will open the website registration period sometime in March of this year. Employers will be able to submit registrations, and typically they can only register one employee for this specific position in their company. There are going to be some regulations coming this year to make the process a little bit more streamlined, because in the past couple of years, this registration system was subject to abuse. There were many applicants that registered multiple times and caused big issues in this whole process. This year, they're going to be making some changes. The bottom line is that still, March is when you have to register. Then they're going to put a deadline when the registration will be closed. And then in April, they will announce who was selected in this registration. And applicants will have 90 days to file their H1b visa applications. So again, it's subject to a lottery, and if you try to apply for this H1b and you miss the deadline, you may not be able to get this visa at all this year. But H1b visa is a good option for employers that are looking for skilled workers that have at least a bachelor degree, and their position will require somebody with a bachelor degree. In addition to the 65,000 available for regular employees, there's an additional 20,000 available for those of you that hold master degrees from US universities for a total of 85,000 H1b visas. Typically in the past 2 years, they had more than 250,000 people that applied, so as you can see, it is quite of a lottery. Some employers could be cap exempt. If you're an institution of higher education like university, you're not subject to the cap. If you're a nonprofit affiliate with an institution of higher education, again, you're exempt from the cap. If you're a nonprofit research organization, you also exempt from the cap. And finally, if you have a government research organization, you're exempt from the cap and you can hire H1b workers throughout the year. But most employers are not subject to these exemptions, and most employers will be competing for these 85,000 visas starting in March. One more thing about H1b visa: if you get the visa and you're married, your dependents will come with you, spouses and children. It's very important to know that spouses of H1b visa holders on H4 visas are not eligible for a work permit. Let's compare this to the green card application under the EB3 category. Now, the reason why we are focusing on the EB3 category is because the EB3 category is the most common category for workers to get green cards. And typically, H1b employees that have less than 5 years experience with a bachelor degree will be competing under the EB3 category when they apply for their green cards. So who is eligible for the EB3 green card category? First of all, you must have a permanent job offer from a US employer. Unlike the H1b visa, where it's a temporary job only for 6 years, with the green card petition on the EB3, the employer is attesting that they are giving a permanent job offer. Also, when we're applying for a green card, unlike the H1b, we have to prove to the government that there are no US citizens being impacted by this hiring, and therefore most employers must go through a process called labor certification. That's the first step of a green card application, where we have to advertise the position in the newspaper, and if we satisfy the requirements and there are no US citizens that applied and qualified, then you can proceed to step number 2, which is the I-140 immigrant petition, where we file the petition with the US Immigration Service to show them that there's a need for this position. With H1b visa, we don't need to advertise the position. We don't need to show that there are no US citizens that qualify for the job. The employer can hire any foreign worker on the H1b visa, even if they are US citizen eligible to work for this position. It's different when you apply for a green card. Now, the advantage of the EB3 is that we're not subject to a lottery, and there's no timeline when you can file. You can file at any time. So for example, if you're a student in the United States, an employer can choose to file for a green card for you instead of going for the H1b. So if you're here on STEM OPT, for example, you can extend your OPT for up to 3 years. And during this time, an employer could choose to file for the EB3 green card for you instead of going through the hassle of the H1b. The advantage is that you're in the United States, you're working on your OPT as a student, and in the same time, the employer is going through the labor certification, then the I-140 process, and then the one thing that is interesting about EB3 is that you have to wait for your priority date to become current. The visa bulletin that we talk about in many videos, and you can search on our channel, every month we release a video update about the visa bulletin. The visa bulletin is controlling the visas in all different categories, family and employment. And different categories like EB1, EB2, EB3 have certain numerical limits on visas. So for example, if the dates are not current at a particular month and your immigrant visa was approved, you'll have to wait several months, maybe even a year or so, until your dates become current before you can file the last step of the green card, which is the adjustment of status if you're in the United States, and finally get your green card. That's why the process of getting a green card can take 2-3 years, sometimes even longer, depending on where you were born. If you're from India or China or Mexico, your process is probably going to take over 5, sometimes 10 years in the EB3 category. But the advantage of doing this is, first of all, you don't have to wait for any lottery. You can apply for your worker even if they're outside the United States. Some employers are filing for their employees, prospective employees, who are waiting overseas, and they can start this EB3 immediately. They don't have to wait for March. They don't have to wait for the lottery decisions. So EB3 is a very powerful option for a lot of employers who don't want to wait for the H1b visa, or for workers who don't even qualify for H1b. For example, a lot of our nurse clients, they don't even go with the H1b visa. Their employers file straight for the EB3, and as a nurse, you have a specific fast track to get your green card by bypassing the labor certification completely. And If you are an unskilled worker and you don't qualify for a work visa because you don't have education, you can still do EB3 as an unskilled worker. And it's a very, very powerful green card application for those employers that desperately need labor and they can plan ahead 2-3 years in advance. They'll be able to secure permanent positions for their workers who are going to work just for them because they've done this process for them. So again, H1b, of course, advantages, it's faster, and you'll be able to port employers when you are already on the H1b visa. EB3 is a longer process. You're kind of stuck with the employer during this time, but it's worth it at the end of the day because you're not competing with the lottery and you don't have to worry about any caps. So again, every visa process has the good things and the bad things, but at least you understand where we're coming from and you understand the good situation and you understand what is good about an H1b visa and what is good about EB3 and also what are some of the drawbacks. And now you have all the information and you can make a decision. However, if you're looking to apply for a work visa and you're currently inside the United States and you already have an employer, H1b visa will be very fast, and now is the time to do it. We're recording this in January, and guys, you only have 2 months before March. So act fast and let's get you that work visa ASAP. Again, if you need help, send me a text, 619-483-4549. I'm here to help you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.